Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going fabulous. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to create a few projects using the Hero Arts My Monthly Hero Kit for June 2021. This month's kit is super fun. I'm going to share with you what's in the kit, and then we're going to jump in and create 3 projects. This kit isn't that little guy so sweet? You get a 6x8 stamp set and a bunch of kitties and dogs that are just adorable, very playful. There's quite a few birthday sentiments in here, but there's some sentiments that are outside of birthday. So you could use the one that says "You lift me up" with the balloon, which I thought was fabulous. And there's another one in here that says "You're positively amazing." There are 17 frame cuts that will die cut out each one of the images in the stamp set, which makes it really nice. But I'm super excited. Well, I love animals anyways. This is going to make some fun birthday. And then there's cakes and party hats and bones, dog bones, kitty bones, to create backgrounds or accent pieces also. So this is your stamp set. Now you also get another goodie bag. We're going to take a look at that. You get a mini ink cube this month. This is light mint. Really pretty color. In fact, usually when I create my cards, I create a color theme, and so today we're going to use like a teal, pretty close to light mint, pinks and purples. So I'm going to share with you what it looks like on paper, kind of swatch it out for you. I think it's a very pretty color. Now also in the goodie bag is a very nice sparkle lacquer pen. It's full size, and Spellbinders actually sells this in their shop, just if you guys want more, because it's an iridescent 3D glitter pen, which makes it really nice. It keeps its shape too. You know how glossy accents kind of flattens a little bit? This keeps its shape, which makes it really nice. And there's some subtle sparkle in there. You also get a bag of, these are round clay sprinkles. Love my sprinkles, and so we're going to use those for a shaker card today. We're going to start off by stamping quite a few images. I'd rather stamp more than less, and then color them all in at the same time. We have the balloon bouquet, a couple of the critters. We have a doggy and a cat. I have the dog bone, the cat bone, and then also the cake slice and the full-size birthday cake. We're going to ink up our images with my Hero Arts Intense Black ink. This is great for Copic coloring, and that's what we're going to do today. And my magnet's in the way. I got to move that out of the way here. But you can see the animals are just so playful. Love that. Next, we're going to take another piece of cardstock and a few more of the critters, and then also the single balloon and the present too. We're going to stamp this on this one. I'm actually going to stamp a few extra presents, a few extra dog bones, kitty bones, and then also a few extra balloons. So to do that, I just leave my paper in my MISTI, and then I use my acrylic. It actually stamps really well when you use your acrylic block, but I'll ink it up again with my Intense Black ink and stamp a few extra presents, a few extra doggy bones, and a few extra balloons. And I think we are good to go. Okay. We'll squeeze one more in there. Now, I did leave the coloring in for you guys. I left the caps out, but I don't think I left them in screen, but I did list them for you up in the corners of the screen. Now, if you guys want to skip the coloring did take about 9 minutes, so you can fast forward it if you're not interested in the coloring. But I am going to play a little music while I color, and then when I am done coloring, I will catch you back. Okay, coloring's all done. I'm just taking the coordinating dies, lining them up, and then we'll die cut out all of our images. And I think I love the color palette. I think it's nice and bright and cheery. Now, after I die cut everything out, I kind of made a mistake. I didn't secure my tape to two of my critters very well. When I ran them through my die cut machine, my dies shifted. And so I had to stop and then recolor them. So if you're wondering why my critters kind of look different from when I colored, that's why. You can see here, kind of shifted and kills me. I'm sure you guys have did this before, but it hurts because you have to stop and recolor. But we'll set these little guys aside. I couldn't save them, but my images are a little bit. I tried to do almost the same coloring, but just had to redo them. Do a redo. Okay, I have them all in sections where I want them for each. We're gonna make 3 cards today, so I'm gonna scoot my little piles aside and bring in some pattern paper. It's like a watercolor print, and I found some that kind of coordinated with my balloons there. What I'm going to start off by doing is taking my rectangle dies, and I want to create a very thin frame. This will be my biggest set here, layer 2 together, and then I'm going to make another frame that's slightly smaller, and then another frame that's slightly smaller. Basically, we're going to have about 1/4 of an inch in between each size. So we have the purple, the blue, and then the pink here. We'll run these through the die cutting machine, and along with these, I'm going to also trim down a piece of white cardstock using the largest die that we use for our frames. And then I did find a piece of vellum that was pretty close to that size. It's a little bit larger, but I can always trim it off after I add my frame. Okay, what we're gonna do, I wanted to create kind of a shaker card, but kind of a subtle one. So I thought this would be really fun to create a shaker with vellum. I'm gonna add the rectangles kind of like accent pieces. So we're gonna use our glue and add a very thin line. You want to be really careful when you use glue on vellum because sometimes it does warp your vellum. The vellum that I'm using here is the Hero Arts Layering Classic Vellum, and I like the weight of it. It's a very nice weight. I'll list it down below if you guys want to check that out. But I do have a little overhanging. I'll use my scissors to trim that off, and then we're going to continue on with our middle frame. We'll just flip it over, add some glue behind that frame, and then that's going to go layered in the middle of our vellum. And then we'll do the same thing with our last pink frame. So kind of a little trio, colorful trio on the vellum. Okay, now after we have this done, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to trim down some very thin strips of foam adhesive. I put it on the outside edge and then also on the smallest frame on the inside. So we're just going to create a shaker, kind of sort of shaker element. If you really want it to shake, double up on your foam adhesive. I just used 1 layer just so it'll slightly move around in the background. So we're removing the release paper here, and I had some extra fish bones and dog bones, and I thought we'd put them on the inside. You guys can completely skip this step because by the time I add my my confetti here or my sprinkles, it kind of gets lost. You can't even tell that the fish bones are and the dog bones behind there. So you don't need to add those behind there. But you can see how it kind of dulls down the sprinkles. But it has a noise to it, and that's what I like. I thought that's real playful. Okay, we're going to take this. I'm going to add some adhesive behind it, and then this is going to go directly on my A2 size card front. We're going to center it, and then this is going to be a landscape style card. So we put the doggy to the left, the kitty to the right, and 2 presents right in between, and then we're going to take 2 of the bones and add them, and also the fish bone there. We're just going to make sure it's kind of balanced. And I did add foam adhesive behind the dog, the cat, all of the elements we die cut, just for a little bit of added dimension. We'll do a little tucking here with our fish bone, and we'll put this last one behind the doggy here. but they are so cute. Okay, I tried to make my kitty cat a tabby, so she's kind of splotchy splotted. Okay, now for my sentiment. We are going to use one of the sentiments in the stamp set that says let's get the paw tea started. Paw, Pawty. I think it's so sweet. Now the nice thing about this is you get the type letter, and I'm going to cut like a banner strip with those, and then I'm going to follow the outline of the party. So we have a fun little sentiment, and I'm going to fishtail the ends, both the left and the right of the sentiment. You'll see here when I add foam adhesive behind it. You can see the party kind of is a little bit more bubbled than the banner. But that is card number 1. I do want to add some of the sparkle lacquer pen to it, but I'm going to do that at the end, all at once. That way I don't smear it. Now for card number 2, I'm bringing in a die set from Hero Arts. This is called the Cloudy Sky Scene dies, and I'm just using the cloudy edge, the dies here, taking 2 pieces of cardstock that are card front panels, which are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and we're going to die cut out a little cloudy on the left and the right. I wanted to make sure that I have an opening, like a circle, on the inside of my framing. You could see there. And I think this is going to. I had to trim it back just a little bit. Now one of them is going to go directly on my card base, and then the other one's going to have a little dimension to it with foam adhesive. And I wanted it to really look kind of airy, I should say. So I went ahead and used those same dies and die cut out some vellum, since I had it on my desk, and then added a little bit of vellum cloudy outline to that. Next, we're going to grab our card base. I'm going to take my first layer. We're going to go ahead and set that aside, add foam adhesive behind the layer that I want on top, and then we'll remove the release paper, and then I'm going to line up my first layer and then add my second layer right on top here, corner to corner. Originally I was going to pop both of them up and have 2 layers of foam tape, but then I was going to add foam adhesive to my balloons and my presents. I thought that's just too much dimension, so I opted just to add 1 layer of foam adhesive, and then I went ahead and adhered that to my card base. Next, we're going to kind of play around with our scene. I wanted to add the presents, kind of tucking them, and the vellum area of the clouds, and also the white cardstock area of the clouds, and then the balloons are going to go over to the right here. I think that's just so cute how he's hanging from the balloons. It's so sweet. Do a little tucking with this one. And I did add foam adhesive to that one. The pink one I added directly to my card front, and then this one we're just adding a little bit of tape, and we're going to tuck it behind our cloud here. I think I'm going to overhang it just a little bit. Next, we need a sentiment. So I'm going to actually do stamp surgery and trim my happy birthday in half. It trimmed beautifully, and I'm going to separate the happy from the birthday, stamping the happy first in this top area. If you guys don't want to do this, you can always mask off your sentiment. You can use your post-it note tape or regular tape too and stamp them separately. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp my birthday, and I'm just using my intense black ink here. Okay, now I think that looks so cute. I'm just going to trim off the present off the bottom and scoot my balloons over just a tad, and then we're going to add a little bit of sparkle with our lacquer pen to this one too, in just a little bit. Just trim this off, and that finishes card 2. Okay, for card number 3, I have 3 pieces of the same paper that I used to create my frame, the purple, the teal, and then the pink. I wanted to add a little bit of confetti in the background, so I'm bringing in this Hero Arts stencil set. It's a stencil pair. I think I picked this up at Joanne Crafts. We have one in the mall down here, and I don't think Hero Arts has this in their shop. But if you have a Joann's, go check it out. You can probably find it over there. But it's a fun stencil. I'm going to add some pixie spray behind it and put it at a diagonal on front of, this is actually a panel that is card front size. No, actually it's slightly smaller, so it's 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to add a little bit of color using some Distress Oxide inks. I tried to find colors that coordinated with my Copic markers, and I found that the first color I used was Peacock Feathers, second is Wilted Violet, and then the third is Picked Raspberry, and they coordinated pretty well with the colors that I used to color in my images. But this is neat. It kind of gives a gradient of confetti that is heavy on the bottom and kind of gets sparsed out when you get towards the top. Now for these, I'm going to go at a diagonal. I'm going to add some tape behind it, layer my blue one first. These are just 1 inch strips, and I'm going to go ahead and add my second layer, which will be the pink. I'm going to lower it about 1/4 inch from the blue, and then I'll go ahead and lower my purple about 1/2 inch from the pink. Next, we'll trim off the excess here, and I'm going to go ahead and trim down a 1/2 inch strip of white cardstock, and that's what we're going to use to stamp our sentiment. We're going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to add adhesive behind it. I just didn't want it shifting while I stamp my sentiment, so we'll tack that down. And for this card, I'm going to use the cute little sentiment that says Sending Birthday Whiskers. Using the same black ink, we'll stamp that about 1/2 inch from the left side of our strip here, which really stuck to my craft mat. And we're going to put this on the very top of the blue diagonal stripe, and making sure that S is pretty close to the edge there. And then we have a little bit overhanging. We'll trim that off. And before we add our images, we'll flip this over, and I'm going to add foam tape behind it and place this on our card base. And then we have 3 balloons. We have our birthday cake here and our little kitty. The kitty actually has a party hat already, but I wanted a slightly bigger one, so I just added my die cut party hat over the kitty's original party hat. And then we're going to add our balloons kind of in a cluster above our little party area here. And then I think this looks great. There's a lot going on, and I have my little slice left over, and I originally was going to put it next to the cake, but thought that's just too much, so this just might go on the inside of my card. We're going to grab all 3 of our projects, and then we're going to take our lacquer pen, and we're going to go ahead and go over our balloons. You can see when I used my Copic markers, I added some stripes and some crisscrosses and some polka dots. We're going to go over those with our lacquer pen. And this does add dimension. When you squeeze it out, there is height to it, and it stays that way. So it does add a lot of dimension. But these are my projects today, guys, for Hero Arts using the My Monthly Hero Kit for June 2021. I hope you enjoyed them. If you want to see still shots, head on over to my blog. I always list still shots over there. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.